Okay, so I've written a book, and in this world of noise, you've got to put it out there about what you've done. So what I'm going to start off with is know thyself, which is really the first point. Now, how did I come to that information? I came to that information through getting rather ill and laying in bed for quite some time and not also being able to sleep for quite some time. These are terrible things that happen because then you're like, your whole life changes. You're now an invalid. So I just wanted to start with know thyself because I saw this awesome video on YouTube from KRS-One, and I didn't know his work, but he was talking about the fact that if you know thyself, it's the entrance to the gate of your existence, and it's sort of like the first step that the priest puts you through. So know thyself. In that video, he does this little exercise where you basically hear your voice for the first time, your inner voice, and that's your higher self or your soul, without the identity that you've accrued through your time in this place. So you are not your body, you are not your mind, you are not your identity, you are not your culture, you are not your personality, you're not your narrative, you're not your struggle. These are all things you choose. And why do you choose them? You choose them because they're your belief systems, through your experience, through your understandings. And I was completely a slave to my belief systems, and it made me extremely unhappy, made me mad, made me sad. And it was a wonderful story that I'd knit for myself over time. But when that was disrupted, that's when this journey started of knowing thyself. And it's not an easy journey because, the ancients didn't have all of the inputs we've got. We've got all of the television, we've got peer pressure, we've got government, we've got family, we've got, your parents, they have all of their things, all their beliefs that they passed on to you. And these are very difficult to get rid of. And this is before we even get to the traumatic stuff in the subconscious mind. Your brain is there to protect you, eh? So how does it do that? Well, it logs your traumatic experiences and your happy experiences, all experiences, but the standout ones mostly. And they become your prism in which you see the world. So it's not until you clear the prisms of your mind do you really get to peace and happiness, because you get rid of all of these triggers that release feelings, then emotion, then chemicals in the body. So ultimately, you find yourself in a whole world of chemical result because you've accepted the feeling and the emotion and the conclusion to what it is that you think is happening. And it's terrible. is really terrible, because it's just a belief system. It's all in your head, buddy boy or girly girl. So for me, it's been extremely difficult, because I got so many examples. Where do I start? Okay, so my genetics, white, blue eyes, that comes with a whole bunch of crap, because Hollywood pushes it, right? Then there was, I'm Australian, okay? Then there was, I'm intelligent, okay? Then there was, I'm successful, yeah, okay. Then there was, I don't deserve this, okay? Then there was, why do I have this and no one else does? There's so many strange little things that you tell yourself in this life in order to cope. Now, was I ultra successful? No, moderately, not completely. But did I tell myself that? No. Was I the best Australian? No, I wasn't. But all of these are belief systems that we tell ourselves to cope and to get on with life. So I just wanted to make my first video about the fact that in this life you have to choose what belief you're going to allow to take your energy. You don't have to hang on to your grief. You don't have to hang on to your story. You don't have to hang on to your experience. You can get rid of all of it and start again. And if you start again, you can make it the very best experience you wish for. So in the first sections of my book, I lay out a whole bunch of questions that basically force you into the brutal truth of who you are. And the other thing is, I try to bring you back to yourself, meaning the brain, the heart, and the gut. They're actually technology for you to navigate your experience. You don't need smart watches. I used to think you did. You don't need any sort of indicators except what your body already tells you about your experience. E.g., your mother says something and it triggers a response that hurts. Why? Right? Someone at work says something constantly to you and it triggers you. Why? So I laid out a sort of guide to get you to your brutal truth, because you need to know that before you can go any further. If you don't know that, you're going to struggle and just loop in circles and circles and circles, and you'll never get to the point where you can know what you want and manifest it. So let me tell you that know thyself is the starting point. Yes, you are a spirit inside of a biosuit that has a brain, that is a calculator. This is all true. But because of our existence in this media-driven world, and also power structure-driven world, we've got a lot on board, man. A lot on board. So to get rid of all of those on board stories, narratives, rules, conclusions, we have to do some deep research into ourselves. If you do the deep research into yourself, then it will come up. you'll see exactly who you are. And you know what? You won't like it, because there's the face that you give to society. There's the face that you give to your work. And then there's the real you. And that real you is pretty ugly most of the time. Selfishness, judging people with condemnation, all sorts of things. And we were taught differently, yeah? We were taught many different strange ideas. And it was in ignorance. It was in ignorance. It wasn't, you didn't do it on purpose. I didn't do it on purpose. I did a lot of nasty things in my life, you know, but I was acting ignorantly. I had no clue. I was just running my real-time narrative through the story in which I was given and then expanded upon. You're just running data. Just data streams, triggers, emotional responses, comebacks, equalization, again. They're just sub-programs. So anyway, I hope that this may have tweaked a little bit of curiosity. Now, I'm not trying to get rich off the book, but I believe that you do have to have a bit of skin in the game, because anything that comes free is given that much attention, and zero. So the book is 888, because I believe it's a beautiful number, the number of prosperity and success for you and for me. So have a look at the Amazon, have a look at the first chapters, see what you think. I hope you buy it. It will change your life. I'm not loyal to any system. I am a student of all, loyal to none. So this is not about becoming a guru. It's not about starting some sort of movement. In actual fact, I'm only going to do one book. That's it. Or maybe that will change, but this book basically takes you to the point where you have the intellectual knowing, and that intellectual knowing with deep meditation and reflection, you should cross over into a totally different world. A world where there's no fear, there's no judgment, there's no noise, and there is manifestation of what you want. And when I say what you want, meaning your true desires, not what the world told you. You don't need a Lambo, man. You don't need the perfect body. Look, more beautiful numbers. You don't need any of that shit they told you you need. In actual fact, you're just fine the way you are. Okay? Love you all. Bye.